mom who feels like your relationship with your adult child is slipping away, not because of anything you specifically did, but because of someone else's influence, parental alienation is so heart-wrenching and a reality that many moms are facing. I see it daily with the moms I work with in my coaching practice. If you are feeling lost, isolated, or maybe just looking for some answers on how to handle this, you're not alone, and always there is hope. Today, I just want to unpack what's happening in parental alienation, what that looks like on both sides, and help you explore ways to find strength and hopefully be able to find a path back to connection with your adult child as well. If you look at the definition of parental alienation, it's a strategy whereby one parent intentionally displays to the child unjustified negativity aimed at the other parent. The purpose of this strategy for someone who's doing this to you is to damage the child's relationship with you, right? With the opposite parent. They're trying to turn the child's emotions against that other parent. We know how damaging that can be. A lot of times it happens in divorce. Sometimes it's a parent, maybe even a spouse you're married to, or maybe you haven't been married to their father in a really long time, but this is still happening. It could be a grandparent too. So let's dive in. Number one is recognizing the tactics that are used. They can be so subtle, but yet so deeply impactful emotionally. And so many of these parents position themselves as, I was wronged, or I was the better parent. I'm creating an environment where the child felt obligated to reject their mom and show loyalty to the other parent. One of those tactics could be negative repetition, where the child frequently repeats negative things they've heard about you from their dad. In this instance, they may say, Dad says you don't really care about me. And so if your child ever said something like that, that means those thoughts were planted rather than it being their true feelings. And then also withdrawal, which is what a lot of you are dealing with. Withdrawing of contact. If they become very disinterested in seeing or speaking with you, an alienating parent, the one that's doing that, they might even reward the behavior of their child, even an adult child, by offering different privileges when the child chooses to spend time with them instead. Now, like I said, sometimes it's divorce where the kid's going back and forth, but we're talking about adult children. It's still happening. A lot of times financial gain is there as well. Your child may give some really inconsistent reasons, like, I don't feel comfortable around you and I can't explain why. Or things like that, where they're kind of echoing the other parent's language and there's really no emotion in what they're saying. I just want you to remember that, to try and understand these tactics is huge, because you need to be able to see your child's behavior as a reaction to manipulation and not a direct rejection. Oh, that would be so powerful if we could see that, right? Number two is the emotional impact on you as a mom. A lot of times these alienated moms have intense feelings of loss or mourning because you're not connecting meaningfully with a child, despite obviously your child is alive, your child is hopefully healthy and well, and sometimes your child is thriving in their life outside of you. And so there's the grief and mourning that you're experiencing. A lot of moms, whether they're getting alienated or just have been estranged, we feel like you've lost a child that's still alive, that you can still see or hear about. You're seeing photos and all of this. And it is exactly that. It's a mourning period. It is definitely grief. There's a profound sense of grief. So what we don't want to do is isolate, right? Because you probably are feeling trapped and sometimes even unable to explain really what's going on, and afraid to expressing your love without risking further rejection. And so if you were to say, I love you, it could push them away, which will lead to silent suffering. And so moms there's this inevitable cycle, just trying to get out of that. So you might be questioning your own self-worth because you're not getting clear answers and you start doubting yourself, right? You may be wondering if you did something wrong, but we can't allow that to become an internal struggle, because that will continually replay past interactions. And then you're going to be searching for explanations logically, right? I want you to know that these feelings are common, that you really do need a support system. You need to be able to not isolate. We don't want you to feel alone in this. And we've got to build up your self-worth and your inner strength. So if this is you, if you're alienated from your child or estranged, or maybe you're just navigating a tough relationship, but you're ready for some coaching and you're ready to take the next step, if that is you and you're committed to finding peace and support, I want you to click a discovery call link below. It's in the pinned comment and in the description. This is where 30-minute consultation. It's not a coaching call. These are for moms serious about diving in. These calls are limited, so please do grab yours as soon as you can when you are ready. I have limited space right now. I just want you to know that when you are ready to invest in yourself, I want you to click that link. But your well-being and your personal growth is just as important. So I hope you remember that. Whether it's with me or someone else, I want you to get the support you need. Number 3 is your child's perspective. You know, the children in this aspect, in those situations, they're often confused and they may feel forced to choose sides, which can lead to internal conflict and some long-term emotional issues, because that is very difficult, especially if they were close to you when they were younger. And so the child might take on a protector role, defending the alienating parent. If it's dad in this case, not that it can't ever be mom, because moms do this as well. So whoever that is, that other parent, you know, the child's probably starting to feel responsible for dad's happiness, feeling that they have to reject mom to keep the peace. So they can't win. They're in this battle. And it becomes an internal battle for them as well. And so there is a lot of pressure around that. And they may really love their mom. They may really love you and feel guilty for wanting to spend time with you because they don't want dad to feel bad. They don't want to betray dad. And so then they're dealing with internal guilt. And then it can become hostile, or they can almost become resentment behind the scenes. So if they show resentment, it can hide their own internal conflict. So you know how I always say, what's going on with your child has more to do with them than it does you? That's a perfect example of that. Over time, these adult children, teens, adult children, as they grow, they're caught in the middle and in future conflicts with other people too. They're not going to know how to navigate that. It's just a messy situation all the way around. And I just want to encourage you to recognize these behaviors as coping mechanisms for your child. They may act distant, they may act really hurtful, and maybe it's because they're being pressured into choosing sides and don't know how to handle that. But if you can try to maintain some compassion and don't ever badmouth the other side, that may be your source of stability in the future, where you'll be able to have a relationship with them. So lastly, I want to talk about some coping strategies for you moms: emotional resilience and laying a foundation for future connection. Reconciliation may feel far off, but we have to lay that foundation. And it starts with healthy coping mechanisms for you as a mom to navigate this, because you're going through this, but you're not alone. So you have to take care of yourself in this process. I talk a lot about that in a lot of other videos, but I just want to remind you that we need to set that safe foundation for reconnection. And it's super important, because it will happen. So just be patient, take care of yourself in the process, and we just have to put one foot in front of the other and every day make some good choices for ourselves. So God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.